Hello, Sharon. I'm so excited to speak with you today. I want to learn all about the services that you provide for estate planning. And let's start. Please introduce yourself and tell the people about the services that you provide.
Well, Ms. Reese, thank you so much for wanting to talk with me this morning and today. And I'm just looking forward to having a friendly discussion with you.
Yes.
My name is Sharon Baker, and you see Baker-Boykin. I'm married, but my professional last name is Baker. I'm an attorney here in the state of Georgia. I've been licensed here for 40 years. Well,
Congratulations.
yes, I mean, time has flown by. And I've done a lot of things in my legal career, from being in private practice to being a special assistant attorney general, to being an assistant DA, to being a judge, to working in state government. I was the unemployment insurance tax chief, the disability adjudication director, and currently I am working, I have my own business, Power of One Decision, but I also work at DeKalb County government in the CEO's office, managing a couple of projects for DeKalb County, Georgia.
You
So I've
have
done a
a
lot in 40 years.
Yes. So you are truly an expert. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. So the jewels that you can drop today is because you have the experience and the resume to prove it for sure. So what made you want to start your own business?
Well, when I look back over the things that I have been involved with, and you and I both are African Americans, a lot of times some of the positions that I've been in, I was either the first and
Mhm.
sometimes the only person of color in the room. And I'm hearing information that we as a people need to understand so that we can make better legal, intelligent responses and decisions on our life. And, it's just been hard to, well, let me rephrase. It's not necessarily hard, but it's just been what I think is inside of me. That as I learn this information, I want to share it with others who also want to hear it and understand it. And again, to make better decisions about what we have, what we've acquired, how we live from day to day, and the decisions that we make and the impact that those decisions have not only on you, but on your loved ones, on, the community. So I've been what I call a lifelong learner and a lifelong teacher. Whatever I learn, I want to teach to others so that they can continue to grow in where they are.
I love that you said that because we're never stop learning anything, especially when it comes to our craft, our skills, our businesses. We're always learning while we're teaching as well. So I love that you said that. And Sharon, speaking of decisions, Power of One Decision offers services for estate planning. You like to call legacy love letters, which I
Yes.
just love that term. What what made you come up with that term?
Well, let me kind of give you a little background, if I can, Tammy. Um, as you know, I've done a lot in my legal career. In fact, instead of and including being a probate court administrator, but life touches you in so many ways and it leaves a dramatic impact on you.
Yes.
I'm a daddy's girl. I don't know if you are, but whoever's
Yes.
listening to us, we're daddy's girls. I'm the oldest of four siblings of my parents. But my father passed away
Oh,
the
I'm so
Friday
sorry.
before Father's Day in June of 2018.
Mm. Oh.
And it still hurts,
Mm.
okay? And the last remembrance I have of him being alive was the weekend before. My sister and I were visiting my parents. They live in another city here in Georgia. And we backing out the driveway, we blowing the horn, waving, said, okay, Dad, we'll see you next week. We're going to go to church with you. He's a deacon at his church.
Mhm.
So when he died in June, Tammy, I had death in the family in July, August, September, October, November, December, January.
Oh no, that's a
That
lot.
that's a lot, and not everybody had their plans in order, their legacy love letters. Some had them, some didn't. And but here, 4 months after my great aunt passed away in January of 2019, I became a probate court administrator in DeKalb County, Georgia. So now, not only was God letting me see how this particular area of the law impacts me personally with all those family members who passed, but now from the court's perspective, what does the state of Georgia have on its books to help people when they have their stuff in order and when they don't. So I had started writing some books about some of the things I'd already done in my career. And my sister Karen encouraged me to write a book about this particular topic, but use non-legal language. Because
Right.
people want to, if you're helping someone, you want them to understand what you're talking about. So keep the language simple. Don't use the
True.
fancy legal language that you lawyers love to do. But so that's what I did. I wrote a book, which is basically a workbook, helping people to look at what they have, think about what legacy you want to leave. Who do you want to leave things to? Is it your children, your spouse, your church, your charitable organizations? What is it? And who do you want to help and support? Because we can't take any of the stuff we work so hard every day to, to acquire. We can't take it with us when we make that transition.
That's very, very
So
true.
that's the thing that has encouraged me to do and to share what I know, but in a way that people understand. And when I do talks or when I meet with people, I'm keeping it very simple too, but I want them to understand the power they have. That's what my company, Power of One Decision. You make that one decision and it's powerful because look at what it's going to impact based on that first powerful decision.
You know, having estate planning established is really vital for, you don't want your family or friends, loved ones to be arguing over your stuff, the courts or states making decisions for you as well.
Mhm.
And I understand it's even a notice like in the news if the things weren't, put in place. Is that true?
That is true. And if you were to even Google who are some famous people that we know of that died without a will, you'd be surprised. And
Right. When they have the
when
means
they,
to
right,
do estate planning.
absolutely. I mean, some of them have millions that they choose not to put a plan in place. And now here comes the fights.
Yeah.
But even when I was working for the courts, it's not necessarily somebody famous, but every one of us, we have stuff. And I said, okay, I tell people, I said, look at what you have on, your shoes, your clothes, the jewelry. Women, we have a pocketbook, men, you have a wallet, what's in it?
Right.
You may have a house, a car, you have furniture, you got, if you're members of organizations, fraternity, sorority organizations, whatever, you have documents and things that you need to protect, or you determine who gets it, again, when you make that transition. So it's really not about the value, although you'd be surprised, people that really had a lot still didn't put anything together, but all of us have something, all of us.
So they will come to you and you'll walk them through the entire process from beginning to end, correct?
Absolutely. What I do is I will have what's called our strategy session. And and if it's generally when I'm doing an open talk, I'm talking in general terms. I may use some hypotheticals, but when I'm meeting with a single person, couple, their family, sometimes they're groups. But usually when it's more self-contained, the family, the parent, the spouses, then they are telling me their personal story. But I also then want them to know you have options. There's no one size fits all.
Yeah.
It depends on what you have, and when the dust is settled, what do you want it to look like? And the legal professional, we're going to get you there hopefully the quickest way possible to get to that end result that you want. But you've at least thought about it. You may have children. Do I need a trust for my children? Or if they're
Right.
adults or they're special needs, who do I trust to look after my child who has special needs, who can't manage their money? Because if you don't decide who those people are, the main person that you do not trust is going to be the main person coming to the court asking to be named the person to take care of your child who has special needs. And they're not concerned about the child, they're concerned about the money.
Wow, that's as deep and real as it get. Oh my gosh,
Yes,
thank you for saying that. People need to hear this realness because it's a real situation and process that, we're
absolutely.
not doing it to say, oh, speaking into the universe that we're getting called home to the king or, transition
No,
tomorrow. It's real life situations that you have to put in place. And it's just a conversation that needs to be had with individuals, families, you know, you can't avoid it for sure.
And think about how COVID had an impact on the world.
Right.
COVID-19 was a universal pivot for the whole world. We work differently. A lot of people passed away who got the COVID disease, or they were in the hospital hooked up to a life support or some machine and did or did not have their stuff in order. Okay, so now that it's never going to go away because it's always a new variants coming up from COVID,
Right.
but in other conditions and other illnesses pop up too. But at least it got people thinking, okay, what should I do? Because at the time I was working in probate court, and probate court also issues marriage licenses as well as handles when people pass away. Now, if you were living with your spouse or your friend and you thought you were common law, but then you knew that if something happened to him or her, you're going to be fighting with their family members over the stuff. We had people then rushing to the courthouse to want to get legally married because they knew it was going to be a problem.
Right.
But it
Very,
was
very
a, it
true.
was a shift for the whole world because you have some companies, people don't want to go back into the office. They want to work from home. And now these companies have these big empty buildings that they're paying rent on and taxes on and insurance on, and nobody wants to come back into the building. But I think it was just a pivot for all of us to realize life can change for all of us and we don't have control over that. But what will be my response?
Great metaphors, analogies for sure. Earlier, we talked about your books. Where can we find your books?
You can go to my website, www.legallifecoachsharonbaker.com, or you can go to Amazon and you can get the books there. I have now 12 books, Miss Reese. And I
Congratulations.
have other ideas of books that I'm working on currently. And see, that's the other thing I encourage people. I said, we've all gone through a test. Now you have a testimony. You
Yes.
can help someone who's going through currently the test that you are now on the other side. And we can't think that we are not capable of putting that book together. So I try to help people. I said, even when I'm talking about whatever topic, I will open the door. I said, have you thought about writing a book? And people will, yeah, but I've never done it before. I don't know how. And I want to help them too, because the graveyard is full of so much wealth and information because people did not leave it for us to review and to learn and to keep growing from it. So I
Wow.
want people to think about, you've gone through something, you can put it in a book, it creates additional revenue, but it also helps teach us who are going through something similar that there is life on the other side of that challenge.
Wow, Sharon, a lot of people have a lot of fancy titles, long resumes, but aren't quite making an impact. You have all these amazing titles, resume, and you're making a huge impact. The work that you're doing is changing lives, is informing people of so many possibilities to just avoid tragedy during grief or complicated points of our lives. Just thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Lastly, I would ask you, what is some advice that you would give someone to prepare themselves for beginning the estate planning process?
Well, I would encourage them, they can get my book that's entitled Help Me Get My Stuff in Order, keeping the title
Yes,
very simple.
let me
Help
get
me
my
get
stuff
my
in
stuff in
order.
order. So you know what that means. But here's the thing, Tammy, that really kind of sparked this whole, not only the strategy or the challenges that I went through back in 2018 to 2019 with all those deaths in the family. But when I was a younger attorney, I had a lady in her mid 80s come to see me, and she brought me 10 sheets of notebook paper where she wrote out everything she owned and who
I
she
love
wanted to
it.
leave it to.
I
Now,
love
Tammy,
it.
when I say everything, sheets, towels, dishes, she described it, what color it was,
I love
pocketbook,
it.
shoes, jewelry, furniture. And her thing was, now, please don't laugh at me, but I done been through too much mess and fighting with family members who died, didn't leave their legacy love letter in place or nothing. And the fights with the family members over their stuff. And her comment to me was, when is my turn? When is my turn? I don't want a fight over my stuff. So we put her 10 sheets of paper in the proper legal form. She came back, signed it. And her last comment to me was, now I can go and enjoy the rest of my life, knowing that when my time comes, there won't be any mess.
Mm.
Because I have outlined everything that I have and who's going to get it.
Wow.
And I said, to this day, that's probably been one of the smartest clients, because think about a lady in her mid-80s to do something like that. So it's not about the value, how much it costs, but it's your stuff that you've acquired, and you want to take care of people that you love and care about. And then you can enjoy, because we all have that transition date that we don't know when it's going to occur. I mean, even today, some people who were alive yesterday are not alive right now because of what happened yesterday, last night. You know, you turn the news on and you don't know. So
Never
be
know.
prepared and enjoy the rest of your life, knowing that when the time comes, you've made your decision known, or your state has a plan that you may not agree with and you may not like, and it's going to cost money. And then the world is going to find out you didn't have a plan in place, because one of those steps that the state will do is that we're going to publish a notice in your newspaper in Georgia 4 consecutive weeks to let the world know you passed away, you didn't have a plan, and we're asking who has a claim against this person's estate, who's an heir, who's
Right.
a creditor, here's the date to file it, and then the fights really start and they get very ugly.
Thank you. We all need that realness sometimes when it comes to things like this, for sure. Sharon, well said. Amazing work that you're doing. Very visionary, impactful. I definitely appreciate you, and please keep up the great work.
And if I can leave with this one last thing, I do have
Yes,
a
please.
free, and I know people love free stuff, a free ebook that
Ooh,
they can get at www.helpmegetmystuffinorder.com. Because I want people to, again, it's not a happy topic. It's a real world life topic that every person, no matter what your background is, rich, poor, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, no matter what country you live in, every one of us on this earth are going to experience this second date. And put something in place that if you've been blessed to acquire things, who do you want to bless when you pass away?
I got chills. I love this conversation, though. Thank you so much, Mrs. Baker. You're amazing. I adore you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Tammy, and keep up the great work that you're doing as well.
Thank you.
We just have to keep getting to people who want to hear and then take action based on what they hear and make the world a better place.